Welcome back to Tell Me More Stories Told as Podcast,
Hmm.
the show that takes, everyday things and turns them into these fascinating adventures. And, today we're diving into something, well, something you probably use every single day, but probably don't give much thought to. Toilet paper.
Toilet paper.
From its humble beginnings to its surprising role, in history and society. Get ready to be amazed by the story of toilet paper.
Yeah, it's easy to overlook the significance of something as ubiquitous as toilet paper. But trust me, this seemingly simple product, it has a long and fascinating history, intertwined with cultural practices, economic trends, and even environmental concerns.
All right, so let's rewind the clock way back. I'm talking centuries. Because, believe it or not, before toilet paper became like the go-to, people got creative with their bathroom hygiene. Ready for this? Seashells, corn cobs, and even rags were common alternatives.
That's right. Resourcefulness was key. In ancient Rome, they even used a sponge on a stick, which was shared communally, and kept in a bucket of salt water.
Okay, that's officially going on my list of things I'm glad I don't have to experience.
Uh.
But on a more serious note, it makes you wonder, when did the idea of using paper for this purpose even emerge?
Well, the earliest documented use of paper for hygiene, it actually dates back to 6th century China. By the 14th century, they had even established mass production of toilet paper. Fast forward to the Ming Dynasty, and we have records of an emperor who enjoyed personalized, perfumed toilet paper.
Okay, that's just incredible. A personalized scent for, well, It really highlights how, even back then, comfort and hygiene were important, at least for those with the means. But I'm curious, were there any other interesting alternatives used throughout history before the modern toilet paper era?
Absolutely. Different cultures develop different practices. In some regions, people use materials like wool hemp or leaves. Water-based cleaning methods like bidets also have a long history and remain popular in many parts of the world today.
Yes, bidets. We'll definitely delve into those a bit later. But first, let's shift our focus to the development of commercial toilet paper as we know it. Because using seashells and sponges is one thing. But how do we get to those neatly rolled up bundles of softness we have today?
The journey towards the familiar roll of toilet paper began in the mid-19th century. In 1857, an American inventor named Joseph Gaiety introduced the first commercially available toilet paper in the U.S. It was sold in flat sheets, each one watermarked with his name.
You really have to admire that kind of entrepreneurial spirit, but I can't help but picture how awkward it must have been to use those large flat sheets. So who do we have to thank for the ingenious invention of toilet paper on a roll?
That credit goes to another American inventor, Seth Wheeler, who patented rolled toilet paper and dispensers in 1883. He recognized the convenience and practicality of this format, and his invention revolutionized bathroom hygiene practices.
And thank goodness for that. Now, if you're enjoying this journey through the history of toilet paper, hit that subscribe button to make sure you don't miss the next part of our deep dive.
Yes, because we're about to uncover some amusing anecdotes and surprising facts about the early days of toilet paper marketing. For example, did you know that one of the key selling points in early advertisements was that their toilet paper was splinter-free?
Splinter-free, that really makes you appreciate how far things have come in terms of both technology and consumer expectations. But before we go any further, let's take a quick pause, and then we'll be back to explore the modern era of toilet paper, its variety, environmental impact, and maybe even a bit of trivia.
Welcome back to Tell Me More.
All right, let's dive back into the world of toilet paper. We've journeyed through its ancient origins and witnessed the birth of the commercial roll. But now it's time to explore the modern era, and you know what that means. It's time to talk about options.
You might be surprised to learn that the world of toilet paper is actually quite diverse. We're not just talking about different brands, but different plies, textures, and even materials.
I've heard that term before, but I have to admit, I'm not entirely sure I understand what it means in the context of toilet paper.
Ply refers to the number of layers of paper that make up a single sheet. So a one-ply toilet paper has a single layer, while a two-ply has 2 layers and so on. More plies generally mean more softness and absorbency, but it can also impact the overall thickness and durability of the toilet paper.
Okay, that makes sense. So besides the number of plies, what other factors contribute to the variety we see in modern toilet paper?
Well, there's texture, which can range from very smooth to quilted or embossed. And then there's the choice of materials. While traditional toilet paper is made from wood pulp, there's a growing trend towards more sustainable alternatives, like bamboo sugarcane and even recycled paper.
Speaking of sustainability, I know this is a topic many of our listeners care deeply about. What are some of the key considerations when it comes to the environmental impact of toilet paper production?
That's a crucial question. And it's one that has sparked a lot of discussion and debate. The production of traditional toilet paper from virgin wood pulp has a significant environmental footprint. It contributes to deforestation, consumes large amounts of water and energy, and generates a considerable amount of waste. That's why there's a push towards more eco-friendly options.
So when we're standing in the aisle trying to choose the most sustainable option, what are some key things to look for on those labels?
First and foremost, check for recycled content. Toilet paper made from recycled paper reduces the demand for virgin wood pulp and helps divert waste from landfills. You can also look for certifications, like the Forest Stewardship Council (FSC) label, which ensures that the wood used comes from responsibly managed forests.
Those are some great tips. Now, you mentioned bamboo and sugarcane as sustainable alternatives. Can you tell us a little more about those options and how they compare to traditional toilet paper?
Absolutely. Bamboo is a fast-growing grass that requires less land and water compared to trees. It also regenerates quickly, making it a highly renewable resource. Sugarcane is a byproduct of the sugar industry, so using it for toilet paper production doesn't require additional land cultivation. However, it's important to consider the transportation distances involved, as these materials are often shipped from overseas, which can add to their carbon footprint.
It seems like choosing the most sustainable option isn't always a simple black and white decision. There are trade-offs to consider for each material.
Exactly. It's about weighing your priorities and making informed choices. And of course, there's always the option of reducing our reliance on toilet paper altogether.
You're talking about BF, right?
Precisely. While not as common in some cultures, bidets offer a highly effective and water-efficient alternative to toilet paper. They use a targeted stream of water for cleaning, significantly reducing the need for paper.
Okay, before we get too deep into the bidet debate, let's circle back to the history of toilet paper for a moment. We left off talking about early marketing tactics and how splinter-free was once a major selling point. Any other interesting anecdotes from the early days of toilet paper advertising?
Well, in the early 20th century, there was a trend of marketing toilet paper as a health product. They would emphasize its softness and purity, linking it to hygiene and well-being. Some even claimed that using soft toilet paper could prevent certain medical conditions.
Wow. It seems like they were really trying to elevate toilet paper from a simple necessity to something much more glamorous. But let's be honest, despite all the marketing efforts, toilet paper isn't exactly a topic that usually sparks lively conversations. However, there was one particular event in recent history that thrust it into the spotlight.
You're talking about the great toilet paper shortage of 2020, right?
Yes, the COVID-19 pandemic sparked panic buying and hoarding, leaving supermarket shelves bare, and creating a sense of anxiety and even desperation for many people.
It was a fascinating sociological phenomenon. It revealed how, even in a modern, technologically advanced society, something as basic as toilet paper can become a symbol of comfort, security, and control during times of uncertainty.
It's incredible how something we often take for granted can suddenly become so central to our sense of well-being. But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to share a fun fact that I stumbled upon during my research.
I'm all ears.
Did you know that in Japan, it's customary to fold the first sheet on a new toilet paper roll into a decorative shape, almost like origami?
That's delightful. It speaks to the Japanese emphasis on aesthetics and attention to detail, even in everyday rituals. It's a wonderful example of how something as mundane as toilet paper can be infused with cultural significance.
And on that note of cultural insights, we'll take a quick pause, but don't go anywhere. We've got one more part left in our epic toilet paper saga. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Tell Me More. We're wrapping up our exploration of toilet paper, and I have to say it's been a surprising journey, full of unexpected twists and turns.
It is fascinating how something so seemingly ordinary can reveal so much about history, culture, and even human psychology.
Exactly. We've covered everything from ancient alternatives to the great toilet paper shortage of 2020. We've talked about plys, textures, and even the environmental impact of our choices.
And we've discovered that even something as simple as toilet paper can be imbued with cultural significance, like the Japanese tradition of origami folding.
But as we reach the end of this deep dive, I'm left with a question that's been swirling in my mind. Given the environmental concerns surrounding traditional toilet paper production and the growing awareness of alternatives like bidets, do you think we'll see a major shift in bathroom hygiene practices in the future?
That's a great question, and one that's difficult to answer definitively. There are several factors at play. On the one hand, there's a growing awareness of the need for more sustainable practices, And consumers are increasingly looking for eco-friendly options.
So that could potentially push people towards alternatives like bamboo or sugarcane toilet paper, or even bidets.
Yes. But there are also cultural norms and habits to consider. In many parts of the world, toilet paper is deeply ingrained in bathroom routines, and change can be slow.
It's like you said earlier, toilet paper has become a symbol of comfort and security. It's not just about hygiene, it's about a sense of familiarity and normalcy.
Precisely. So while I think we'll continue to see innovation in toilet paper production, with a greater emphasis on sustainability and recycled materials, I don't anticipate a complete disappearance of toilet paper anytime soon.
So perhaps it's not about one replacing the other entirely, but rather a gradual shift towards a more diverse approach to bathroom hygiene.
That's a great way to put it. We might see a future where bidets become more common, not necessarily replacing toilet paper altogether, but complementing it. After all, different situations call for different solutions.
And who knows, maybe we'll see even more innovative solutions emerge in the coming years. Technology is constantly evolving, so perhaps there's a revolutionary bathroom hygiene product just waiting to be invented.
I'm sure there are plenty of inventors out there brainstorming new ideas as we speak. But regardless of what the future holds, one thing is clear. Even something as seemingly simple as toilet paper has a story to tell.
And that story is full of surprising twists, cultural insights, and even a bit of humor. It reminds us that even the most everyday objects can hold a fascinating history and spark thought-provoking conversations.
So the next time you reach for that roll of toilet paper, take a moment to appreciate its journey and all the stories it represents.
And thank you for joining us on this unexpected adventure. We hope you learned something new, and maybe even started to see toilet paper in a whole new light.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep telling more.